Rob Reiner, now 77, has finally confirmed what many people have suspected for years. Some call him a meathead, others call him a genius. He's the man who gave us everything from hilarious mockumentaries to touching romantic comedies. But in recent years, Rob seems more interested in politics than filmmaking, leaving fans wondering what happened to the creative mind who once ruled Hollywood. Let's take a deep look at his incredible journey, his rise, his classics, his strong political opinions, and the reasons why he's not as big in Hollywood as he used to be. Rob Reiner was born on March 6, 1947, in the Bronx, New York. His father was none other than Carl Reiner, the comedic mastermind behind the Dick Van Dyke Show. Growing up in such a creative home, it was natural for Rob to fall in love with acting and storytelling. He went on to study at UCLA's film school, where his passion for entertainment grew even stronger. By the late 1960s, Rob was already showing up on television in popular shows like The Andy Griffith Show, Batman, and The Beverly Hillbillies. In 1967, he made his big screen debut in Enter Laughing, a movie directed by his father. 2 years later, he appeared in Halls of Anger and then teamed up again with his dad for Where's Papa? During this time, Rob also began writing comedy, working on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour and helping with Steve Martin's variety show. His early work showed promise, but his big break was just around the corner. That break came when he was cast as Michael Meathead Stivic on the groundbreaking sitcom All in the Family. The show premiered in 1971 and ran for 8 seasons, quickly becoming one of the most influential series in television history. Rob's character, the liberal son-in-law of the stubborn and conservative Archie Bunker, became iconic. Their heated but humorous arguments tackled big issues like racism, feminism, homophobia, abortion, and the Vietnam War, topics that were rarely discussed on TV at the time. When All in the Family first aired, it wasn't an instant success. But once audiences caught on, it became a cultural phenomenon and the highest-rated show in the country for years. It even led to 5 spin-offs, although Rob didn't appear in any of them. His character Michael was an orphan whose parents died in a car crash, leading him to live with Gloria, Archie, and Edith Bunker. The tension between Michael and Archie reflected the generational divide of the 1970s, the clash between old-fashioned values and new liberal ideas. Despite their constant arguments, there was love underneath it all, especially from Edith, who often tried to keep the peace. For his performance as Meathead, Rob Reiner won 2 Emmy Awards. When he decided not to join the spin-off Gloria, his character was written off the show as having left his family to join a hippie commune. By then, Reiner had already made his mark on television and was ready to conquer something bigger, film. In 1984, Rob made his directing debut with the cult classic This Is Spinal Tap. It was a mockumentary about a fictional rock band, and it changed comedy forever. Rob not only directed it but also appeared in it as the documentary filmmaker. The movie was so realistic and funny that many viewers thought Spinal Tap was a real band, and eventually, it became one. They even went on tour and released albums. This Is Spinal Tap is still considered the greatest mockumentary ever made. After that, everyone wondered what Rob would do next. To everyone's surprise, he directed a romantic comedy called The Sure Thing. People were confused at first. How could the guy who made a fake rock documentary pull off a love story? But Rob proved he could handle it perfectly. The movie was sweet, funny, and showed his talent for romance and timing. It also marked the start of his success in making romantic comedies. Then came Stand By Me in 1986, based on a story by Stephen King. It was a heartfelt coming-of-age drama that became one of his greatest films. The story of 4 boys on a journey to find a dead body captured both the innocence and the pain of growing up. Rob said he related deeply to the main character, Gordy, a young writer living in the shadow of a famous family, something Rob knew well because of his father's fame. Stand By Me earned him his first Golden Globe nomination for Best Director. It showed that Rob Reiner could do more than comedy. He could make audiences laugh, cry, and reflect all in one film. Then in 1987, Rob gave the world The Princess Bride. It was a mix of fantasy, adventure, and comedy, a fairy tale that felt both timeless and clever. Full of quotable lines and unforgettable characters, it became a childhood favorite for millions. Even decades later, people still quote lines like "As You Wish" and "Inconceivable." It's the kind of movie that never gets old, even if some jokes may feel dated today. 2 years later, in 1989, Rob made another masterpiece, When Harry Met Sally. It's still one of the most beloved romantic comedies ever made. With Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal in the lead roles, the movie explored whether men and women could truly be friends without falling in love. It was smart, funny, honest, and beautifully shot. And of course, it gave us that unforgettable diner scene, and the famous line, "I'll have what she's having." That one line became part of pop culture history. By now, Rob Reiner had mastered multiple genres: mockumentary, romance, drama, fantasy, and his name was among Hollywood's biggest. But he wasn't done yet. In 1990, he directed Misery, another Stephen King adaptation. This time, it was a psychological thriller that kept audiences glued to their seats. Kathy Bates gave a chilling performance as the obsessed fan who holds her favorite author hostage, and she won an Oscar for it. Misery showed that Reiner could direct suspense as skillfully as he handled comedy and romance. In 1992, Rob directed A Few Good Men, a courtroom drama starring Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson, and Demi Moore. The film became a massive success and included the famous line, "You can't handle the truth." It earned over $100 million in the US and cemented Rob's reputation as one of the best directors in the business. In the mid-1990s, Rob returned to romance with The American President, 1995, starring Michael Douglas and Annette Bening. It became one of the top 100 greatest romances according to the American Film Institute. But before that, he suffered a major setback with North, 1994, a family comedy that flopped badly at the box office. Even legendary critic Roger Ebert said he hated it. Fortunately, The American President put Rob back on track and earned him another Golden Globe nomination. As time went on, Rob became more vocal about politics. He started directing politically themed films like LBJ, 2016, starring Woody Harrelson, and Shock and Awe, 2017, about journalists investigating the Iraq War. While these films had good intentions, they didn't do well commercially. His strong political opinions also made him a polarizing figure. He became known for his outspoken support of liberal causes and for criticizing conservative politicians, especially Donald Trump. Rob even produced documentaries like God and Country, 2014, which warned about the rise of Christian nationalism. It made waves among liberals but drew heavy criticism from conservative media, particularly Fox News, which often mocked him using his old Meathead nickname. Despite the controversy, the movie didn't perform well at the box office, showing that political passion doesn't always translate into ticket sales. The truth is, Rob Reiner's career slowdown isn't just about politics, it's also about box office numbers. Since 1995, only one of his movies has made over $50 million in the US, The Bucket List, 2007, starring Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. That movie's success mostly came from the star power of its leads rather than Rob's direction. After that, his films struggled to make an impact. Movies like The Story of Us, 1999, Alex and Emma, 2003, Rumor Has It, 2005, and Flipped, 2010, were either forgettable or flops. Even The Magic of Belle Isle, 2012, starring Morgan Freeman, barely made $100,000. His later movies seem to lack the spark of his earlier ones, relying on big names but failing to capture audiences' hearts. These days, Rob spends much of his time on projects outside of traditional filmmaking. He co-hosts a podcast that explores the JFK assassination, diving deep into conspiracy theories and forensic details. He's passionate about uncovering the truth behind the case, even naming possible shooters and discussing bullet angles in depth. In his personal life, Rob has been married twice. His first wife was Penny Marshall, known for her role in Laverne and Shirley and later as a successful director herself with hits like Big and A League of Their Own. They married in 1971 and divorced in 1981. Although they didn't have children together, Rob adopted Penny's daughter Tracy from her previous marriage, and he's now a proud grandfather through her. Penny passed away in 2018. In 1989, Rob married photographer Michelle Singer, whom he met while filming When Harry Met Sally. They have 3 children together, Jake, Nick, and Romy, and remain happily married. Beyond Hollywood, Rob Reiner has dedicated much of his life to activism. He helped create the American Foundation for Equal Rights, which fought against laws banning same-sex marriage in California. In 1998, he led a campaign to fund early childhood programs through a tax on tobacco. His anti-smoking efforts even got him mocked on South Park, but that didn't stop him. He's also supported causes related to media responsibility, environmental protection, and reducing violence in entertainment. Politically, he's been an outspoken supporter of Democrats like Al Gore, Hillary Clinton, and Joe Biden. He even co-founded the Committee to Investigate Russia, which aimed to expose Russian interference in U.S. elections. With Morgan Freeman, he released a video warning that the U.S. was at war with Russia. Recently, Rob began developing a TV series called The Spy and the Asset, exploring the relationship between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. It's clear that his passion for politics now drives much of his work. Rob Reiner's story is one of transformation, from TV actor to one of the most versatile and respected directors in Hollywood, to an outspoken political activist. His golden era gave us timeless classics like Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, and A Few Good Men. Even though his more recent work hasn't had the same success, his influence on film and television is undeniable. Whether you love or disagree with his political views, Rob Reiner remains a figure who refuses to fade quietly into the background. He's lived many creative lives: actor, director, writer, activist, and no matter how Hollywood changes, his mark on American culture is already set in stone.